/AskReddit. Who do you think is the single most powerful person in the world? Probably some random anonymous billionaire that likes making very large donations to politicians. It sounds like a cop-out, but you're right. If people know you're the most powerful man in the world, then you aren't. I'd argue that a person that could destroy the human race by simply giving an order to do so is about the most powerful person there is, and we got a few of those. Whoever has money and isn't in the public eye would be my guess. I have money and I am not in the public eye. I'm not powerful. You're not fooling me, I'm onto you. Wealthy billionaires in the West wield a lot of power on the system, but person with the single most amount of power, I am going with Xi Jinping. China has over 1.4 billion people, and Xi effectively runs an authoritarian government where his word is law. Positioned in the right way, Xi could mobilize those 1.4 billion people to whatever ends he wants. In the West, there are a lot more checks on power. Xi isn't as powerful as made out. While he's cemented his power quite strongly these days, it isn't absolute, and there are still a lot of factions against him within ABS without the government structure that he's been unable to deal with. Also, ordering mass mobilization is a quick way to end his rule. His grip over the population has only getting weaker in the past few years, and that's the sort of thing that pushes people over the edge. People generally tolerate a lot if they sense it isn't directly causing them difficulty. That changes the moment they feel that's not the case. The board members of BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. They collectively manage over $20 trillion, and their board members sit on the boards of nearly every major corporation in the world. Except the question was, who is the single most powerful person in the world? Probably Larry Fink, founder of BlackRock, as that fund manages more than the other two. The truly most influential individual on Earth likely operates in complete obscurity. To wield such immense power effectively, one must possess the wisdom to ensure their identity remains hidden from public knowledge. This sentiment is all over this thread, but I don't think it is true. There have been dozens of kings, dictators, presidents, and warlords throughout history who have been able to effectively wield tremendous power in full view of the public. I'm going to disagree, because someone like Putin, who has more money than any legit billionaire, can fund all kinds of things anonymously, through multiple shells, or any other way he wants to. US President, I say this because he alone can launch every nuke America has. He may not be able to start a war without Congress, but with the power of nukes, and what the Supreme Court just ruled on, I would say, does make him the single most powerful person. While Putin has all the power to control a conventional army, he's technically not able to solely launch his nukes. Anything else Putin has the power to do, kill political rivals, seems to be the same power a US president now has. For the wealthy, they have control over basically all forms of government through lobbying. But none of them actually have the level of military might, guards, and destructive capabilities as a president. Kim Jong-un, a relative who was formerly very high up in the British military, put it like this a few years ago, more or less. We don't really need to worry about Trump or Putin starting WW3. They might be mad, but there are enough sane people around them that they'll never actually get to push the button, even if that's less true for Putin now than it was a few years ago. We need to worry about North Korea, because if Kim wakes up one day and decides to blow somewhere to Kingdom Come, there's nobody who will stop him. Has anyone already said Rupert Murdoch? Honestly, he's at the root of so much evil I can't get my head around why this guy isn't getting dragged 24/7, phone hacking, propping up right-wing terrorists. Seriously, fuck this guy. Honestly, he's patient zero when it comes to nearly all of the bullshit in the modern Western world. It isn't that he's devising all of the plans, but he's in lockstep with them creating narratives that allow them to get away with so much. And the radicalization of Murdoch News viewers has opened the floodgates for even crazier old and new media outlets to get a foothold. Vladimir Putin. I think this is accurate. He's very likely the richest person in the world, but Forbes and other publications exclude political leaders from their lists. Also, it would be tough to calculate considering how he bestows wealth on many people to get their allegiance. But he can take that wealth back at any point, so it is essentially still his. While he may not control the world's greatest military, he's capable of an awful lot via disinformation networks, and his lack of allegiance to larger power blocks, like the UN. Also, he can't lose his power, like the President of the US. It's his, until someone forcibly takes it away. That's its own kind of power. King Charles III. The thing is, the British monarch is a lot more powerful than most people tend to think. He's not just the King of England. He's the head of state of 15 nations. He has 15 armies that swear loyalty to him, not to their countries. This combined force is second only to the United States military, and does possess the sufficient nuclear armaments to destroy the world. There's also vastly less checks and balances that people think on his power. And contrary to popular belief, he's actually the wealthiest person in the world. It's just most people aren't aware that he owns all of the land in multiple countries in the same manner of which the Saudi Arabian royal family owns Saudi Arabia. That's why those countries, you can't really get mineral rights, because all the minerals belong to him. In total, he owns close to a sixth of the planet. Elon Musk, think about it, one of his companies has control over the world's largest satellite network. There are rumors that in some parts of Ukraine, internet was turned off the moment Ukraine counterattacked. Also, he owns Twitter, X, one of the largest, most important social media platforms, which many celebrities and politicians use. Jerome Powell, who is the head of the Federal Reserve. I took an economics course and my professor basically explained that this man controls the world economy. He can buy or sell bonds in the US economy, which, summed up, leads to economic expansion or recession. So, if this man wakes up and decides that the US economy is growing too fast, he can simply introduce recessionary monetary policy to shrink the US economy, which in turn affects the entire globe and can completely ruin other countries' economies. This man is insanely powerful, and nobody knows it. Mohammed bin Salman has control over much of the world due to dependency on oil, therefore has power with control of power energy. Oil controls trade, shipping costs, cost of fuel, food production, water, etc. Too bad so many believe Tesla was a quack during his time. Could have powered the world with free solar energy. But his work was repressed because some greedy bastards decided they could make money off of this control and give us electrical cords that flow through wires instead of use the energy that flows through the earth. This allegory is even told in the Lorax, the man that bottled air. MBS's family are trillionaires. Pretty sure he's the Antichrist, but many aren't ready to hear that. And it's a whole rabbit hole, but yeah, MBS is the most powerful.